The Trump administration has until noon today to share details with a federal judge about the deportation flights carrying undocumented Venezuelans. The administration says they all had gang ties. The White House carried out the flights to El Salvador on Saturday, even after a judge's order to have the planes return. It is justifying the flights, citing a law from 1798. CBS News immigration and politics reporter Camilo Montoya Galvez joins me here in Studio 55. Good to see you, my friend. All right, so I always want to provide context for people who might be just tuning in to this story for the very first time, not paying attention to it. So what happened, and what is this law that the Secretary of State is citing in his efforts to deport these individuals?
Well, President Trump has invoked the Alien Enemies Act of 1798, a wartime law that was signed into law just 22 years after the Declaration of Independence, and it allows the government to summarily arrest, detain, and deport people from countries that are invading the U.S. or staging an incursion into the country. The administration is arguing that the Tren de Aragua transnational gang from Venezuela is orchestrating that so-called invasion or incursion into the country, and that anyone who is from Venezuela, 14 and older, and allegedly part of this transnational gang can now be subject to this law and summarily deported from the country. And we saw several dozen detainees from Venezuela, allegedly part of this gang, sent to El Salvador over the weekend, 137 of them as part of a larger group of deportation flights to that country. And now they're being detained in El Salvador's maximum security prison, which of course is notorious for alleged human rights abuses and substandard conditions. And it's part of that broader crackdown that government has staged on gangs in that country. And so right now, there is a legal battle, Vlad, as we speak, over whether the president can actually invoke this law on a gang and not an actual government or country that the U.S. is not currently at war with, but also whether or not the government actually violated his order over the weekend to return the planes that were carrying deportees subject to this order back to the U.S.
So the question here, and I see a lot of people online positing, well, they're gang leaders. They've committed heinous crimes, allegedly. And so why would we want these people in the United States of America? But the judge is saying that everybody, whether you're an American citizen or not, whether you're undocumented or not, under our Constitution has the right to due process. And that wasn't carried out here. And why is that important, even if we don't like the people that are not receiving the due process?
It's a good question, because under regular immigration law, migrants, including potential criminals, are entitled to a hearing in immigration court and also potentially an opportunity to request asylum to halt their deportation if they qualify for that relief, if they're fleeing persecution because of their religion, political views, or other certain grounds established under U.S. law. But under this statute dating back to the 18th century, the government can essentially bypass that process and deport people without any due process and any of the protections under U.S. immigration law, because they are considered enemy aliens, not just migrants who are here illegally. They are essentially enemies of the state under this law and can be summarily arrested and deported. And this is why advocates are so concerned that people are being deported without any sort of legal screening and due process, and that people who are innocent may be swept up in this operation too.
And so the president or the Secretary of State or the president of the United States can designate anybody who they disagree with, anybody who they think is a representative of what this law suggests. That could be me or you. We're children of immigrants. That's the precedent that's being set here.
Well, the law says that the government or nation that these people are from has to be staging an invasion or incursion into the country. And the administration is making this far-fetched, sweeping argument that Tren de Aragua is orchestrating an invasion of this country, and so forth. The people who are allegedly part of this gang have to be treated as enemy aliens. And so that is an argument that obviously has not been done before. There have only been a few times in U.S. history that this wartime authority has been invoked in, including during the Second World War, when the government at the time used it to detain and surveil immigrants from Japan, Italy, and Germany. This has never been invoked during peacetime until this week.
And what happens at noon?
The judge will decide whether or not the administration violated his court order based on the information they provide.
All right, Camilo Montoya Galvez, always great to have you right here in Studio 55 with us, breaking it down. Really important stuff. Appreciate it as always.